Hello everyone, my name is Art Russell. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to offer some information that can help you align with the flow of life. Why? Because when this occurs, our experience of life becomes more peaceful and enjoyable. It's important that I clarify one major point. This doesn't mean pretending that everything is always just fine, and that there's no difference between stubbing our toe, being involved in a car accident, or making love. Entering the flow of life occurs when we clearly discern the difference between our essential nature, which I'm suggesting is consciousness, and the conceptual self, which is commonly referred to as the person. I've made a couple of illustrations that I hope will help us clearly discern the difference between who we are, or that which we are, and who we think we are. The first illustration is related to the conceptual person, which is comprised of name, age, form, gender, race, nationality, sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. It's really a bundle of information that's streaming towards us or repeating. And the nature of the conceptual person is based on fear, competitiveness, and defensiveness. The perspective of the person is very unstable, as all of us will have experienced. One moment, one day, 1 week, we're feeling fine, and the next day, week, or month, we're not. Our essential nature, which I'm suggesting is consciousness, looks more like this. Now, it really can't be represented by the mind because it's prior to the mind. But what I'm suggesting is consciousness is the substratum of our being. Now, the perspective of consciousness is very stable. It's the changeless that is pervading and within, without the changing circumstances. It's sometimes referred to as the center, the ground of being, or the rock, meaning very stable. So this in itself is a more peaceful perspective to live from. Now, I've got a couple of examples here that I believe can point out the instability of the perspective of the person. For instance, are you a coffee lover? From the perspective of the person, some beings believe that they're grumpy if they don't get their coffee. And then that tendency of mind, or that belief, that habit, is expressed if the apparent need of the coffee isn't fulfilled. So somebody that thinks they get grumpy without their morning coffee, we often experience grumpiness. And then once the coffee is ingested, that apparent person seems nice and calm and stable. Well, here's a point about who you think you are. Are you truly the being But from the perspective of the person, are you the person that was grumpy prior to the coffee, or the nice, calm, and peaceful person after? You can see it's always fluctuating. Another example that was my direct experience prior to awakening happening, years ago really now, was tailgating. When someone would drive too close to my car, particularly when I was married, and I felt that they were endangering our safety. Now, this also occurred when I was on my own, but until I broke free of that pattern, that programming, I never really knew how my experience would be while out driving. In fact, I sometimes expected that to occur, and it did. When we live from the center of our being, that reactivity lessens. I'd like to share a couple of sayings here that I believe can help make the point that I'm doing my best to state in this video. Here's the first. The mind is an excellent servant, but a terrible master. So as you can see, in those situations of the coffee drinker who believes he or she gets grumpy, or in my case, the experience with tailgating, until I was able to see some separation between that which I truly am and the programming in which I thought I was who I thought I was, I'd be reacting to circumstances. And this doesn't always serve us, as we all know. Almost everyone will have an experience in which they say out loud, or they think, why did I do that? That occurred because the program was running you, awareness, rather than being grounded in your being. Another saying that I believe really applies to this principle is, we become good at what we practice. So if we just assume that we're a certain way, that we were just born this way, oh, I have to always be frustrated with tailgaters, or that the coffee drinker believes that that's just the way they are. I would offer that as a baby, prior to any coffee, they were grounded in I amness before that child ever knew any of name, form, age, gender, nationality, all of that comprises the idea of being a person. So back to this saying, we become good at what we practice. How do we know what we're practicing? By putting our awareness to work. Are we practicing impatience or patience? Are we practicing fear or courage? Are we practicing kindness or meanness? I'll leave you with a question before signing off. Are you living from creator mode, which I'm suggesting would be consciousness, or reactor mode? It makes a big difference in the quality of our life experience. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful or useful, I invite you to share, subscribe, and like. More information is available through my free articles at thinktwice.me and also through my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones, available from Amazon. Thank you very much for listening. I look forward to seeing all of you again soon. Bye for now.